Hey everybody, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to our non-spoiler review for Venom. We got a panel of three of us here tonight. It's myself, this is Ian here, along with Chris and Jason.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey, thank you guys so much for joining. We're pretty hot off this one. I think a couple of us went to the Friday premiere. I actually caught it this morning. Did you guys both go yesterday to see this?
Yeah, I saw it
Yep.
yesterday.
Okay. You saw it yesterday night. Yeah, I caught it earlier this morning. It was a pretty early showing at my theater and all that good stuff. If you've been listening here in this channel, you know from our weekly show that we've had our eye on this. Of course, anything Spider-Man related, we're going to be following it. Especially a Venom without the classic white spider on a suit. A Venom without Spider-Man. Where is this going to go? And more importantly, a Venom that's PG-13 instead of being rated R. Man.
As they said they were going to do.
No, right. No, you're right. I mean, which completely, I think it's almost kind of self-defeating off the bat. So, yeah, I came to this one with an open mind, really wondering what we had coming our way, what to expect. And now that we've seen it, Jace, I'm going to pass the mic to you first, man. What were some of your overall impressions of this?
It's really good and really bad. A lot of the jokes hit pretty well. It sort of felt like the comedy swung wildly between the lowest common denominator and some really funny, really well-timed comedy. The plot overall sort of lost itself, but
Right.
it's a good, fun ride if you don't mind dropping the ball every once in a while.
Question is, you drop that ball, you gonna pick that back up, or just
Yeah.
just leave it rolling around on the ground? I guess that can be up to you're in first. Chris, what about you?
Well, I don't know if you heard me snickering because Jason's right. It's really good and it's really bad. Although I wouldn't say really good, really bad. I can't help but to be remembered of a couple things. Recently, the Predator movie, which came out a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
that was a bad movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But that was not a good movie in most senses.
Right.
Similar here, although I didn't enjoy this one very much. Tom Hardy playing Brock was really good. The interaction between him and Venom, which if you do or don't know, I'm going to say it. That is actually, at least for Tom Hardy, that is him doing Venom as well. They just altered the voice, obviously. So that's all him. He's the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
But this is not a good movie. This has got the stink of 90s comic book movie cheese and badness to it. Although I would say it is maybe a step, maybe two steps above that. It's not, they're small steps. This movie, in my opinion, failed in everything it was setting out to do.
Right.
First, what we were told, which is that we were going to get a mature, adult-oriented, anti-hero / villain Spidey universe from Sony, and then they took this thing from rated R and made it PG-13 in hopes to connect it to the MCU. So they failed in making this genre, I believe. This wasn't a scary movie in any sense. We were told that this was going to be some kind of horror / scary movie. It was not that in any sense. This is not a good superhero movie. It failed in that sense. It's not written well. Most of the action has too much going on. It's a bit too blurry to really see what's going on. There are moments that are really cool looking. And again, Tom Hardy did a good job here. I would say that the only thing it probably did well, which was one of its bigger hurdles to jump over, was establishing the Venom character. He was fine. He wasn't even all that good, but he was fine. But as far as creating a new shared universe, as far as giving us a movie that we were all going to enjoy, instead of giving us the movie that we were told we were going to get, they cut 40 minutes out of this thing and turned it into PG. And at the end, you just have a mess. It's just a big, sloppy symbiote mess. No one's likable here, really, except for Tom Hardy. What's her name? Anne? Was it Anne? The chemistry between her
Annie.
and Brock, or Eddie Brock, is horrible. The story is really bland and broken up. The editing, because they cut out so much, is really bad, and the villains really suffer for it. The best two the best two, I wouldn't say scenes, but the best two actors again is Tom Hardy and somebody you see 30 seconds in one of the after credit scenes. And by the way, this is the second. I just want to say real quick, and I'll pass it over to you. This is the second time now where I've had an after credit scene that is actually an ad for another movie or something else. And while these after credit scenes normally are some kind of push you go see the next movie or whatever. I'm getting pretty sick of this blatant advertisement after sitting through 10 minutes of credits, though. Yeah. I'm getting real tired of that. Second time I've seen it this year. I want to see it again. That was annoying. Even though I'm really into the Spider-Verse and looking forward to seeing it, that was not worth sitting through. This was a bad movie. I hope this is the start and the finish of this new shared universe, because if this is what we can expect and this is the biggest name you've got in this universe, we are in for a lot of really bad movies.
Oh, hey, fair criticism. In fact, I'm kind of glad I didn't sit all the way through the full credit ending. I caught the post credit, the one we're loosely referring to here, but I actually don't know if there is another ad all the way at the end of mine, because I actually booked out, because I had in the back of my head, I'm like, all right, this isn't MCU style where I'm waiting for two or anything like that.
And,
so,
but it's only worth seeing the first.
Right. So note it. You heard it here. If you're gonna go check this out, there is an after credit scene that comes fairly soon. You don't even have to sit through that many credits. Please do stay for that. Don't bother staying for the rest. All that in mind, I do want to play off a little bit about what both you guys put on the board for this, and because I think it's important, especially when we're talking about the characters that were built, what we have established. In my opinion, look, this movie is at its best when we look at the play between Venom itself and Eddie Brock. There's a lot of these moments that I won't even put it under the umbrella of slapstick. There's just some fun interplay between them about this insanely hungry, partially psychotic alien parasite feeding off of Eddie and just really trying to meet its demands immediately. And Eddie, in this super awkward way, trying to accommodate it and just trying to loosely explain all this insane stuff that's happening to him. And it's some fun interchanges. There's some fun interplay here.
Can I just add real quick? That's when they don't just drop story elements out of the movie altogether.
Right. No, exactly. This is part of form and function where it's at its best, but definitely at its worst. Besides some of the loosely established, like you said, chemistry between Brock and Annie. A lot of the larger points that this makes, and a lot of the lower building, I think that it tries to bring up. Now, see, that's unfortunate, because there's a lot of throwbacks to original comics here. Everything from the Jameson astronaut, if you remember that from the original Spider-Man comics, to the wink at the fan who actually really brainstormed to help come up with the whole black suit, and Marvel gave a nod to him, even making his last name the apartment that Eddie Brock is in. This film is riddled with that kind of stuff. And hey, if you want to hear a little more about that, we're going to have a spoiler review on this channel too. I'm going to go into some details and a few more of those things they threw in, but there's a lot of little Easter eggs hailing back to some of the earliest origins of Venom, and you'll catch them if you follow those in the early comics or you're familiar with the early Spider-Man stories. You've got all that on the board. That all works, and that's fine, but this just falls apart, I think, in its overall direction, where this heads and everything else. And that's wild. Usually I'd expect some kind of problem like, the look of Venom itself. I actually didn't have a problem with that. That's fine. The rest of everything else we see and all the different alien matter, that's all fine. But I think this definitely falls apart plot-wise on multiple levels, both in terms of the larger universe they're trying to be built, and then also of locally, a lot of things that are being established in film. So all that being said, I want to come back to the top. Out of 10, actually, what's our ranking unit here? Chris, opinion? Out of 10?
10 symbiotes.
Symbiotes out of 10 of them. Jason, what would you rate this film?
4.5.
4.5.
No. Actually, I'll give it 5. 5. Across the board.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I break down the movie. 50% good, 50% bad.
Yeah. Fair enough. Chris?
It's like he was reading my mind. 4.5. Throw this thing in the trash. Go back to the drawing board. You can watch Spider-Man 3 and get an equally satisfying Venom experience. And that's not a good thing.
Oof. Well, you heard it there. As for me, where I was sitting, I I came into this saying, man, I hope I can get away with maybe rating this a 6 or a 7. I couldn't do that. I think the best I can give this, at the end of the day, coming out of it, thinking about all the plot issues as well, is 4.5 out of 10. That's where I stand. Maybe half of my suit just got caught in the door or something. I don't know. That's where the half comes from. But hey, that's all I got for the take on this. But hey, what do you guys think? Do you think something completely different? Did you really enjoy this one? Do you think that, oh my gosh, this needs to be part of Spider-Man canon now, or whatever else? We want to hear from you. Please post your thoughts, and also, again,
I wish it wasn't part of my canon.
But now it is. You saw it. Please post up.
We all paid for this, so if they make a sequel, we're all culpable.
Oh,
man. They're not making a sequel. They're not going to make enough money.
No, they're going to make a Carnage sequel, and it's going to be Carnage going around to daycare centers giving balloons to children.
Alrighty. You've heard it here, folks. Hey, stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, people. Thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but it'd be great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, pick up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.